to, okay, now let's talk about your intent. And I want to, because I think you've got more intent than we're seeing inside of you. And so I want to see what you get. So in the beginning of this, let's ask the ensemble. What, and periodic, just so you know, I mean, we're going to learn from each other, so don't be offended by, we all have to be able to be trusting and open in this moment. So in the beginning of this, you were very tentative. What was making you tentative? Yes.
Small downbeat.
Okay, so maybe not as clear when you want to play. Was there anything else?
Breathing.
Oh, so it's a little smaller than perhaps?
I feel like
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
And then there was a little thing about walking up to the stage. I noticed that he went to raise up his arm. Second dancing, it just didn't.
Yeah, so I just want you to, I think we kind of hit it here. Is that there was just a lack of individualism in that moment. Like, if we were going to make music here, it was kind of playful. So, let's start with me. And I want you to see if you can get with them. Okay? Make music with them. As if you were playing in a sax quartet. Right? Just join them in this moment and help influence the sound in some way. Even if it's out of the box. Okay, go ahead. Well, already there is more confidence sound into the breath, and this was much more clear. Now, there's a difference though in conducting here and then conducting here. Now, the difference, I mean, technically it's just allowing my wrist to move a little bit. Okay, but musically what's happening is I'm showing a little bit of motion in between the beats to connect it together rather than just where to play. We want to answer the question how to play. That makes sense? So, and that's the biggest misconception I think a lot of people have about conducting from the novice stages. We feel like we're responsible for showing tempo and showing where to play. Well, that's only one small part of it. And you could argue that that's really not our job at all. I mean, but our job is to show and influence how to play. And so we have to be able to sense the intent. So if you want this to move in some way, so would you play the beginning here? With me, I'm going to do it two different ways. Okay? I want you to listen to it. Ready? Subtly different. Beginning again. Now, the size of the pattern wasn't very different, was it? So what was different? Did you sense there was a little more intent the second time around? Okay. Did you sense, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I mean, what did you notice was different in the sound?
What I saw was like, and then he reacted to it.
Yeah. That's true. This was happening. But this was influenced by something I was doing here. Right? If you watch what I was doing with my face and the way I was breathing, I really kind of just let the arm follow to that. Okay? So what I want you to think about here is how you feel about Bach or whatever the music is that you're doing. This has got to start to come to the surface a little bit more so that we don't just see this. Now, some would argue, well, this is too early in the process to be working on it. It's not. Okay? You guys are phenomenal musicians, all of you. And now, let's get it to the surface right away so we can start making music, not just beating time. Okay? All right, I want you to think about how we can do that. Okay? We're going to start right at the beginning and don't worry about messing up. We're all going to mess up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where was that? Okay. So in this spot, I know here's what I saw. I'll show it so you can go back and watch the video. It's kind of a. You started to hit the beats a little bit harder. Okay. And they did get louder because you started moving more, but they also started to accent a little bit. Now that's what you want. That's fine, sort of. But what I would suggest here is, I mean, yes, we want to move more, but we don't want to pound the ictus anymore. We just want to influence sound to move. And we can do this by covering a little more ground, but we can also, what else can we do? Open ourselves up and work in a different plane to get the right sound. Okay? So maybe that's a moment, along with moving more, is that we lower a little bit. Just something to consider. But I do want you to be aware that we don't want to just hit the beats harder. Because they'll get louder, but it might not be the right style anymore. Okay? All right. So we've got a lot of things to go back and just kind of review. The good thing is, I mean, you're functioning fine. I mean, we're talking about higher level things now. So you can get up here and start things out on the dual from all this technique that work. Now we just have to get through this barrier so that you can connect things better. Okay? All right. Thank you all.